Okay, so we are doing a new series, Meseches Derech Eretz, doing Meseches Derech Eretz Zuta to begin with, and this is from a commentary which was found in HebrewBooks.org. It has the parish of Divrei Derech Chaim, which is from a well-known writer who was I don't think a direct comment, but a student of the Gra, and therefore he. So I think a lot of the basis of what he writes is on the basis of the Gra. Rabbi Yitzchak Yolanda, I believe he was actually the person who put out one of the Sidurim of the Gra. I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So he is. He writes in the. That's there are it was Askamas on the work, I believe. No Askamas, just Akdama. Okay. So without any further ado, then let us begin the Masechta. And I think I'm going to screen share here, so it'll make it easier for our audience. Okay, Darkon Shel Talmidei Chachamim. That is all that's on the first page here. So let's go to the second page, then come back. Maybe the third. Anav, the Shafo. They are humble and they are, it's hard to translate Shafo well in English because it comes out usually with a negative connotation. But Shafo means that they are, make themselves low, diminish themselves. Okay? So we're going to have to understand what exactly that means. And going to the next page, Zoris, they are diligent or quick. Memula, interesting word. They're full, which actually has to be translated better than that. Aloof, they're willing to bear insults. Vahuv, next page again. The Chol Adam, and they are beloved to all people. Okay, I think that's good enough to start with. Let's go back to the first page. Let's see how this commentary deals so extensively with all these words. So we're going to do the Derech Chaim. Derech Chaim looks more drash, but Derech Chaim says Darkon. Hosafas Hanun. Sofa Teba. Why did it say Derech? Interesting deal. Why did it say Derech? Why did it say Darkon Shel Talmidei Chachamim and not Derech Shel Talmidei Chachamim? Okay. So the reason is because Huteva Haragil B'lashon Talmud. This is the way it's often stated in the Gemara, Kamo Rabban Gamliel. Like Rabban Gamliel was called, Rabban Gamliel said Rabbi Gamliel. Yitachen Shanun Hu Nun HaKinuyim. Now this I have never heard of a Nun HaKinuyim. I don't know what it means, but Vav Shem Archei Milas Shel. I guess assuming that Darchon should obviate, if it's a Nun HaKinui, it should obviate the need for the word shell. Because it's a Talmid Chacham's Kinui, a description of Talmid Chacham, would be all the things we're going to learn afterwards. But he's saying that if that's the case, why is the word shell there, right? Fisharaz Derech, he also, I'm sorry, skip. Shell must speak like Derech Shel Talmidei Chachamim, Ba B'Kinui, or Derech Shel Talmidei Chachamim, or Darkon. No, 1 second. I don't know. I'm not sure. Another word, no. I don't know what Nun HaKinui means. Not sure. Okay, let's hear what else he says. Must be my Derech Shel Talmidei Chachamim, Ba B'Kinui. Now I guess it's going to explain it. Fishe Horas Derech, well, say it on Hagas Hergel B'Hateva. Derech normally means something which is the normal, natural approach to something. And he's going to explain us that this is the derech of Talmidei Chachamim. In other words, their what they're supposed to habituate themselves is midos. And this is the positive midos which are embedded in their nature. That's what it says. It's their derech. This is shows a close connection. There's a whole question whether they make a bracha ner Chanukah, like ner shel Chanukah. Our minhag is to make the bracha hadik ner shel Chanukah. Nusach I'm not sure, but perhaps I think Eidotam Mizrach also say hadik ner Chanukah. Why do we add the shell in hadik ner shel Chanukah? So what he's saying is that shell is you make qualifies the ner to be more closely connected. In other words, it means normally neros in Judaism are not necessarily associated with Hanukkah. Ner shel Hanukkah gives it a unique quality that it's the ner which is associated closely with Hanukkah. I don't know if I buy that, but that's what he's saying. The difference in the Nusach bracha is. As he says, if something becomes your habit, it's the most closely associated. I guess it's becomes more characteristic of you than anything else. Okay. Now we never really understood. Again, the nun kinuim he did not explain, and I don't. It's a good question still. Derech Talmidei Chacham should be enough, right? This tells us what a Talmid Chacham has to acquire as a habit, and he has to acquire good midos.
Well, darkan is plural.
Right?
Is not darkan plural?
The darkan seems to be plural, yes. That's a good
So
point.
there are multiple things that we want to discuss as applying to Talmid Chacham.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's one. It could be, but I like what you said, but I would take it differently. I'd say darkan shel Talmidei Chacham means that each one of these is a derech in and of itself. In other words, don't think that the midas are composite. In other words, there's each one has to be worked on individually and separately.
Okay.
But I don't know if that's a good shot. Anyway, the question's better than the answer. Okay, let's go further in Perush. This is a well-known question. Why does it always say Talmidei Chachamim and not Chachamim? It's a person can only be called Chacham if they have the perfection of Chachma. As long as you don't have the Chachma in its totality, and then a Chacham, you're not a Chacham, not Talmid Chacham. You still have to learn and acquire a Chachma. And there's no there's no end to Chachma. Yachid, I think it should say, and no individual. No one individual can acquire perfection knowledge except for Kadosh Baruch Hu. In other words, learning is a lifelong process. Right. And the moment a person thinks he's a chacham, he's lost. So that means that he's going to rest on his laurels and he's not going to attempt to become a greater person. And and in essence, the humility of a person is to always think he's a Talmid Chacham and not an actual Chacham. Mm-hmm. That's a very important aspect. Interesting. That has to be checked out. It says that every time it says Talmidei Chachamim, it's going on the avos on Moshe, Aaron, David, Shlomo, Domeim. That's an interesting insight. If that is, I've never noticed that. But the word chacham is only used for previous generations, not contemporary generations of the Chazal, which I'm skeptical about, but it may well be. Okay. Next, Shel Talmidei Chachamim. Where is this base go to? That which we just learned. Okay, and that's the next page. The first one here, our next page is Anav. Bebirurei Hamidos. and that sefer which he wrote. Be'arnu tor onav hu shiodeo makir batzmo malas chashibuso shel zulo so. A person who is a onav is somebody who knows and recognizes in himself the mila, the level of a significance of another person. No, I messed up that badly. No. He recognized, I know I'm better than you. I know I'm a better person than you. I know I'm a loftier person than you. Right? But nevertheless, what?
Yeah, he continues. Afal Pikein.
Unless he submits and submits himself to his friend and gives his friend more significance than he does. That's the Akadosh Baruch Hu is called an Anav. Based on his high level, who now call. He's superior to everybody, everything else which exists. Yet nevertheless, he still pays attention to those who are very much lower, of course, than he is. So that's interesting, because and now he's going to explain the antithesis, or rather the contradistinction to shafal. It says in shafal ruach. In other words, yes, an Arab is somebody who knows his greatness and nevertheless is machshiv somebody else. A shval ruach is somebody who knows he's not as great as somebody else. Right. So I think there's a lashon somewhere in Chazal, Ezu chacham makiras mekomo, and that lashon of makiras mekomo would mean depending on your place, and either you're an Arab or a shafal. Right? You have to be one of the two, preferably both. Obviously, that's what it says here. Therefore, because the two parts of avodah, mashben al mokum, mashben al chavero. Oh, this is I don't know why he had to come on to what he says here. Okay, that's interesting. In other words, he changes it around a bit here. He changes that Onav is to Benam Chavera and Shabbos Benam Makom. I don't see why he has to say that, because both of them can be true about other human beings as well, right?
Right.
There's a famous Chavos Havavos. Chavos Havavos says that you should never be more proud over somebody else, because if he is a better person than you, he's a better person than you. If he's not a better person than you, but maybe he has less potential and he's achieving relatively more of his potential than you are, right? And relatively speaking, he's a more accomplished person. Right. So the Chavos Havavos is saying, the Derech Chaim here is saying something else. He's saying no. And Onav can know he's greater than a person, and nevertheless he's machnia himself to that person. So that's different than the Chavos Havavos.
Okay, but both are good drushes. Both are applicable.
Okay. Now we're up to Zoris. Zoris. Also called them Be'arnu Shishtem Alos Anavo Shvaruach Hemel Toelas Avodah. They both help the person to be Avodah Hashem, going with his own perspective. Another benam chavero, shvaruach benam makom. Achshtei b'miyas asiyas hara. But these are two ways in which a person is kind of surmei ra. He doesn't do bad stuff. To refrain from doing things which are negative relative to others, whether those others be him, his peers or HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And how it's going to tell us what you need in order to be good. relative to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Yezoris Ba'asiyas HaTov. And here he brings down the Orchos Chaim. We see parallel. Meseches Avos, of course, we have heavy Oz Kanamer, Kal Kanesh, Aratz Katzvi, V'Gol Gibor Kari, Lasos Etzon Abicha Shebashamayim. So on this, he says an interesting shot here. He says, "Heder minias asiyas atov asiya b'advarim sheben olam makom yitochei omitzat shiflus haruach." That which you don't do good is either because of shiflus haruach shechoshem mani ashafel kedai labodas hamakom. How am I worthy to serve God? Omitzat koved avoda, or because of the difficulty of being Abid Hashem. Chem asiratana heavy az kinamer. Sharamer yeshbo midas hazus. He's got brazenness. Avshem makir shiflus erko. Even though he knows that there are stronger animals than the tiger, I guess lions and elephants, stuff like that. Nevertheless, he's az. He'll take his chances. Or we sorry, I went back a bit. Low Tashgiach, so therefore some don't pay attention. Al Shifus Ruchachor. Shetitzrech Labod Lamakom. Give it your all, regardless. You'll cover Avoda have a Kalkanesher. Shanesher no say Bonava Ktefal Knafav, the eagle bears its children on its wings. Mofi Flashamayim flies into heavens. Asherumi Kvedus Avoda. It's very hard to do that. Let's say Smasa Lamala at Sia Shamayim. To carry a burden to the pinnacle of the heavens. If a rat's katzvi should run like a deer, but kalus with ease. Okay, that's easy to do. That's easy to do. The neged hanava that should be easy. It should do it with not easy. You should do it with alacrity. Neged hanava tiek kibor kari. This is an interesting one. Shemakiris necessary kobay kind line knows his superiority. Can't look to shemesh ozmi das hanava. Don't be falsely modest. Okay, fine. Let's go. Let's talk to see what memula means in Hey. Memula lashon Talmud. It means that you learn a lot. Mishum asa mi memulai. Amrisu mila mimul yisa. Umfarish arach b'shem gaon. Zen amar adam gadol shu gadol medaber gadolos. I think actually the way Rashi interprets that phrase when it appears in shots, he says it's the opposite, because you come from a cut off place, you say cut off things, and that's I think talking about people who descended from Eli Cohen, whose lives were cut off because of the curse given to Eli, and they say cut off things. I think it's used as an insult, but the way evidently the way the Aruch learns it, it's all about a person who's full of stuff. He's mimula, right? And since he's a mimula, he says mile mimul yaisa. Shemiya anav neged zulaso, and he goes further here. He says if a person is too much an anav, like we saw in the other commentary, lo yechen al panav lemish machshivo mulemi menu. You're not going to properly rebuke people who you think are higher than yourself. So evidently a person is supposed to feel self-confidence and self-esteem to the extent they'll go out and do things and not refrain from them out of false modesty. Okay. That's what I think Memula means. Are you still able to go a little bit further?
No, I think I need to stop here.
Okay.
We'll pick it up next week.
All right. What do you think of it?
So far, so good.
So far, so good. Okay. Very good.
Okay.
Thank you. Take care. Have a good one.
Bye. Bye.